So 1 point the gap now between Barca and Real Madrid. 66 points for Real, 67 for Barca, who play on Sunday. Atletico Madrid make that move back up to third after Villarreal won on Friday. They're on 57 points, Villarreal on 55, Real Betis in fifth on 43. For more, let's chat to our Spanish correspondent, Phil Kitromilides. Phil, 7 goals in the space of 4 days for Real Madrid. They look really good going forward again, didn't they?
They did. A lot of those goals coming from Fede Valverde, who is in extraordinary form, and he's had a funny old season. Fede Valverde. Maybe we can get onto him in a minute. I'm sure you'll want to dedicate some time to him. But yeah, Real Madrid scoring goals, and this was a big win for them because it comes in the middle of this Champions League tie. It's not done yet with Manchester City, even though it's a comfortable first leg league. This was a game that they had to get over the line. And it's true, Elche hadn't won in 11 matches. They have never won at the Bernabeu. But in the first half, they actually played pretty well. And until that first goal goes in with 5 minutes to go in the first half, Elche are creating more and looking more dangerous. But then those goals start going in for Real Madrid, and it turns into a really good evening. So many positives for them, not least the number of young players who get onto the pitch. 5 current Real Madrid Castilla players playing tonight for Real Madrid, or one of them providing the assist for Dean Howson's goal, Dani Yanez, and some really nice touches from all of them. We knew Alvaro Arbeloa was going to give youth a chance, being the youth coach and knowing these players very, very well. So really a perfect evening for Real Madrid. It couldn't have gone better.
Phil, I'm so glad that you're here to talk about Fede Valverde, because we just wax poetic about him in the Champions League, but he really truly looks like he's in the form of his life. How important is he to Real Madrid for this campaign and really for the remainder of the campaign if they're going to wrestle La Liga back?
Yeah, really important, and particularly with Kylian Mbappe being out and them being really reliant on Kylian Mbappe's goals, they need someone else to pop up and get the goals. And we've seen Vinicius Jr. hasn't been as prolific as he has been in previous seasons. It's just extraordinary what this guy can do. There's quite a famous meme that Real Madrid fans have been using over the last couple of years. 2/3 of the Earth's surface are covered in water. The rest is covered by Fede Valverde. And I think we've seen that the last couple of games. He covers so much ground. Tonight he was dropping in and making a back five when Real Madrid had to defend. Then he was getting forward and being one of the furthest players forward. And he can score all different types of goals as well. Traditionally we'd associate him with an absolute thunder blast from distance. He can smash the ball. But tonight's finish is different, isn't it? It's a curling finish into the top corner. The goals that we saw against Manchester City, they were all different types of goals as well, of varying different difficulty and skill set. So I think he's showing us he can do more. And it kind of got me thinking, is Fede Valverde one of the most complete players in the world? If you had to pick an 11, maybe for one single player, would you rather have 11 Fede Valverdes or 11 anybody else? I mean, there's one or two other options you could go for, but he's such a complete player. He can cover so much and he can score so many goals that this is the 11 that Real Madrid had out tonight. It wasn't 11 Fede Valverdes, but at times it felt like it, given how much of the pitch he covered.
That's a good point. I wonder what he's like as a goalkeeper, Phil.
You mentioned, quite good.
Yeah, I'm sure he is. Probably better than me. You mentioned Mbappe. Obviously, he's been missing with this injury. Has that maybe had slightly, I mean, obviously Real Madrid are a better team with Kylian Mbappe in it, but had a bit of an impact in the way that the rest of them have played? They've taken that opportunity, okay, Kylian's not here, we need to really shine, we need to get the results without him, that's sort of crystallised their mentality with the task at hand?
Yeah, well, I think we've definitely seen that with Fede Valverde. I mean, Kylian Mbappe has been a leader for Real Madrid. He's been scoring those goals, but he's also been stepping up and going into a leadership kind of role. Well, Fede Valverde is the captain. It wasn't tonight because Dani Carvajal was on the pitch, but Fede Valverde is one of the captains. He captains the side, he leads the side, and it does feel like he's stepped up and said, listen, I'm here, I need to help lead this side. And we saw that against Manchester City. And I think we'll continue to see that as well. He's growing as a member of this squad, and you saw quite a lot of unity amongst this Real Madrid squad. There's quite a lot of discussions about Kylian Mbappe and Vinicius, and do they maybe get on, or maybe they don't get on, or what's the feeling like in the locker room. I just think there's quite a good relationship between players in the Real Madrid locker room, certainly from what I've heard, that's not been the issue for Real Madrid this season. It's not that they haven't been getting on. It's not that there's bad vibes. It's that there hasn't necessarily been a clear idea and a structure and a plan and how to play. But in terms of believing in each other and helping each other out, I think we've seen that. And we've also seen that more and more in the last couple of games as well. There's definitely been more commitment. I think we saw that against Celta Vigo last week, even without having that much more football. I think we saw it a lot against Manchester City. And tonight, again, it was a committed performance. So in recent weeks gone by, Real Madrid players have been accused of maybe not running enough, not getting stuck in, not being involved, not being committed enough. Last few weeks, with Kylian Mbappe not in the team, we've seen them step up and show that they're ready to be counted.
Phil, looking ahead to the Champions League second leg, right? They have Manchester City coming up, 3-0 lead going to the Etihad. How important was this to put in this sort of convincing performance ahead of the second leg?
Yeah, really important, really, really important indeed. And also, the ability to take players off, give players a little bit of a rest. I was actually surprised that Fede Valverde started this game. I was surprised that Tchouaméni started this game. I was surprised that Rudiger started this game, even with Raúl Asensio out. But the fact that they were able to take some players off, give them a rest, bring on some youngsters, really, really important because it's a short turnaround as well. They're playing Wednesday to Tuesday. They have to travel to Manchester as well. So it's a really short turnaround for Real Madrid, who don't want to renounce the league title either. And now they're just a point behind Barcelona, who do have to play tomorrow against Sevilla, which is a winnable game for them, but they kept the pressure on them. And I think that's what Arbeloa is there to do between now and the end of the season. Make sure that Real Madrid compete. That is the bare minimum that they have to do. Keep going, keep winning, keep the pressure on Barcelona, and keep trying to progress in the Champions League. There was a lot of euphoria here in Madrid after that result against Manchester City. The atmosphere going into that game against City in the stadium, I was there, it wasn't good. Going into that game, people were really negative. Coming out of it, they were extremely positive. And tonight at the Bernabeu, there was a good atmosphere. Despite the team not necessarily shining in the first 40 minutes or so, the fans kept with them. That victory against Manchester City brought them a lot of goodwill with the fans, and this win going to Manchester, it's set them nicely up for the remainder of the season.
Yeah, it was another superb performance. Phil, great insight as always. Thanks for joining us here on Scoreline. We'll chat to you soon.
Pleasure, guys.
Just to continue the conversation about Real Madrid, when you compare them to Barcelona, both big squads, great players, who do you think is better equipped to manage the fact that they're in the Champions League, want to try and win the Champions League, and also want to win La Liga?
If you'd asked me this a week ago before the Champions League match against Manchester City, I would have said, without a doubt, Barcelona, right? Because of how deep they are, because they utilize their academy, La Masia. But there's just something transformative that's starting to happen with Real Madrid, Adam, in the last two matches. And Phil said the perfect word about commitment, right? Tonight, for me, was a celebration of La Fabrica, their academy, where Arbeloa goes in and he puts about 7 players from the academy. They're on the pitch today. And one of them, Daniel Yanez, gets the assist on the Dean Huijsen goal. So there's just something about trust. There's something about this fighting spirit about this Madrid side that something could be brewing later on in the season. But right now, Barcelona, they definitely have the advantage. And when you look at Arbeloa and the trust that he's now starting to have with these younger players, confidence is brewing, and it seems like more of a team than I've seen them since maybe before this week, El Clasico.
And also, I think you can see with the celebrations, well, there's a few of the goals there, the Huijsen goal, the first goal, obviously the goal at the end, the brilliant one from Arda Güler. The way that they're celebrating, it looks like a team who've they've crystallised in their minds, okay, this is what we've got to achieve. We've got a few weeks left in the season, then we can enjoy the summer, we can enjoy the World Cup. Let's just get it done now, and then we can relax after this season's over.
Yeah, really, after the loss, and you look at the performances against the likes of Osasuna, the loss against Getafe, this looked like a team that was ready to go to Ibiza and say, ciao, the season's done. Adios. But this is why I believe in young players, and Arbeloa himself is believing in young players. But these young players all need someone to follow, Adam. And that's why I said it, I think it was Thursday after the Champions League match. When you have a player like Fede Valverde, you have an example for Madrid players, all of them, of all ages, to follow. I mean, he is playing the football of his life, Adam.
Any road back for City in the second leg, or do you see Real Madrid, doing what they did at the Bernabeu again?
I think it's going to be a lot to ask of Manchester City. We're going to see exactly why when we get on later in the show. But for me, I said this before, I think tie done. Momentum is going Real Madrid's way. And Fede Valverde, as long as he is the lifeblood of this Madrid side, I don't see them losing. I actually think they can make headwaves in the Champions League and in La Liga. This title race is not done yet.